Okay, Tovera has rendered in. I will now activate the Spade secret weapon, its shield. Hello, folks. Today we are joined by a well-renowned builder within the Empyrion community, one who is also a content creator, having made several tutorial videos, and is the host of the Anvil community's Designer Challenge, as well as several other series. He is also a self-proclaimed expert in all things regarding motorbikes, curtain showers, clone chambers, and everything that's moist.
Oh
Ladies and
my
gentlemen,
gosh.
ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only XCaliber.
I didn't know you were talking about until you got to the designer's challenge. I was like, oh shit, who's coming in?
Yeah,
Nice.
that's an intro. Okay,
Yeah, very cool. Welcome.
all
Thank
right.
you.
So, how did you get into Empyrion?
So yeah, I started out playing in a group called SAS, and we came from World of Tanks, and we started playing Space Engineers, and we loved it. We loved the hell out of Space Engineers, but there was four of us in a server, and we couldn't move. So it was really bad back then. Like it was really, I mean, it still is, but it was really, really bad back then. You couldn't really play with other people. So we heard about Empyrion when it first came out because it was from developers of Space Engineers, and so we got it right away, and we went in there, and we looked at it, and back then you could just make a HV and an SV. There was just like a 45 ramp and basic blocks, basic square block. They only had like 3 or 4 blocks. And this was before oxygen and stuff. So we built a base. We grew some food. We got attacked by a drone. We visited the wrecked Titan. And that was about it. I was like, it's cool, but I mean, it's very, very early stage. And I went back to Space Engineers. By Alpha 5, I think I came back, and that's when I really started to play. And then, I started, tearing up builds of other people's work. JRandall, of course, Piston, Siege, Zero G. And just kind of figured it out from there. Tried to start built a lot of horrible stuff. And and then I decided, like, let me start to build things that are functional, because I think at the time we were trying to salvage something, and I was like, it'd be cool. Let me try to make an HV that I can use to salvage, and I made the salvage pup. That was my first like serious functional build.
Yeah.
And which I didn't spawn in, but it was basically like 4 multi-tool turrets in all directions, and it was like a little HV. It was cool, and from there I just kind of went nuts because it kind of popped off on the workshop. Like, people were checking it out, and I think I got like 200-300 subs, and I was like, oh my god, I've made it. I am amazing. I did. Oh my god, so then I started making a bunch of other stuff, and yeah.
So, were you an early backer for Empyrion?
No, I was not involved with the Kickstarter.
Okay.
No.
And so I guess it's safe to say that looking at Empyrion from outside, when you were, I guess, playing Space Engineers, maybe creative was the bigger draw here, or perhaps survival. Which of those two would you say?
Well, no, like, I didn't even know about creative when I first played. I mean, well, actually, I don't think there was creative when I first played. It was just survival.
Really?
And then, so then Alpha 5, when I came back that next time, there was creative, but I didn't know what it was. I had started building in survival in our multiplayer playthrough. And then I decided to go into creative, and that's when I built that the salvage pup.
Now, did you start streaming before Empyrion, or was that sort of a catalyst for you?
Oh no, it was Empyrion that got me started to stream.
Yeah.
Definitely. So okay, so long story, but I'll make it short. Mr. Spicy Gaming, he used to make these videos of builds on the workshop. So he'd do them on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I think. and really, really nice videos. Like he would go all through it, like effects and stuff, and he would just basically showcase one build that he found cool, and he would pick them out on the workshop, and he would show them off. And boy, if you got your ship shown on that, like it was over, dude. It was awesome. And like you know, like everybody, Jay, I remember the first time Jay got his shown, and he was all excited about it. And the first time I got one, I think it was the Kydex. And dude, I watched, dude, I got my whole family to watch it. I was so excited. Like, look, I'm on the internet. I made that. It's so cool, man.
That's awesome.
And yeah. So eventually, you know, he got upset about when Alpha 9 came out and the weights and volumes started, that pushed him away from the game. He didn't want to play anymore. And so we had built a community around him on a Discord. Myself and Jet Set UK, JRandall, and Danielle Marie. The four of us were admins, and so we were like, okay, well, we've got this community here, and he doesn't want the community anymore, right? So then we were like, all right, you know, let's move over and build something ourselves. So that was basically the birth of the Anvil Discord community, and yeah, from there we kind of built it. You know, I started to stream a month later, and I did my first stream. I did a build series where I built the K-bar heavy assault tank, and it was rough. It was rough to say the least. Like you don't, you know, I mean, you know, like until you do this, especially live. Because it's two totally different things when you do video and you do live. Like when you do live, dude, like you're just out there. Like you can't take things back. So, you know, like a lot of times, man, like after a stream, I'll just be like, God, I'm such an idiot. Like, oh my God, why did I say that? Or what was I talking about? Or God, that was cringy, you know, but you can't take it. And that's what I love about streaming is you can't take it back. It just is what it is. You're done with it. Yeah. It's gone, you know?
So I guess building on that, what advice would you offer to aspiring streamers or content creators?
Oh, well, above all, don't ever stream stuff that you're not having fun doing. If this isn't fun for you, if you're doing this because you want to be, you know, you want to make money or whatever drives you, and those goals are great, but you know, if you're not enjoying doing this day to day, then there's other jobs out there that are going to be way less stressful than doing content.
Yeah. Do you feel Anvil server has fulfilled all of your hopes, or do you still see a grander vision that it can achieve?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. There's so much for it to go. Now, when you say server, do you mean community or you
well,
mean
yeah. Well, I guess I could say both of them, really.
Okay. Yeah, because it's funny. So we didn't even have a server for at least the first year of the Anvil community. And we were a pretty big community and just doing the build series stuff, doing the designers challenge, because that started a month later. We started doing designers challenges, and that's gone ever since. So over 4 years now, we've been doing those every month. But then we got the server, and that was with originally with Obsidian. Obsidian had gotten a server on Ping Perfect at the time, and it was painful because of the provider. There was a lot of issues and stuff, but we did our best, and we had a couple good seasons in that. But then, you know, now with Krellas and you know, and of course Darkest and Bossman and everybody dealing with the server now, I mean, it's endless. The possibilities are endless. I mean, of course, they're contingent upon Reforge Eden, Reforge Eden 2 eventually, Reforge Galaxy 2. But that's a good thing too, because there's a lot of components there, and there's a lot of growth that can be made in a lot of different directions. Even honestly, even beyond Empyrion. Like to me, like, you know, Empyrion isn't even a requirement for the Anvil community to flourish. It's just you know, if that game ever presents itself, honestly, if that game ends up being Space Engineers with all the work that they're doing on that game and making the multiplayer a lot better, and there's a lot of stuff they're doing over there. They're actually bringing AI in, like real AI. So we might see POIs and OPVs and, like, you know, So imagine like that could be awesome.
Yeah, that would be great.
So.
I know they're doing a Space Engineers too. From what I hear, that's a thing.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, Starship Evo is still a thing that could be a thing, maybe, and
yeah, I guess
maybe in a long time.
Right. But I think going back to the whole Anvil thing, I think that's one of the strengths of it is that we could kind of interact with it. Like, so for example, with the base game, the whole warping out a system with SVs, that isn't a thing. So we're able to bring something that we see would improve the gameplay and open up new ideas for builds. Like you can capture that whole Millennium Falcon aspect with being able to jump outside of the system. I think that's cool.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
So, which of your builds is your favorite?
I don't know. I guess it changes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ones that I'm very nostalgic for, of course, but my favorite build is always going to be the one that I can get the most use out of. I definitely don't build for looks. I mean, that's probably obvious, but I try to. I don't know. My favorite sci-fi is of course Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but I don't replicate Star Wars, but there's definitely Star Wars inspiration in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's just the thing that does the most and makes me enjoy the game the most. So, I guess maybe now it probably is the helmet just because it does a lot of different things for me. I am excited about the new build that I also didn't spawn in, but the I forget the name of it, but the new the dense mining one.
Yeah.
But nostalgia wise, I guess the Kydex was probably my favorite build for a long time.
Okay, so contrary to that, which would be your least favorite build?
Oh. So my least favorite finished build? You're gonna say that?
I guess you could say, well, at least no, we're not gonna do yeah, actually yes. Least favorite finished build. Which one would that be? Which one's out there that you would want to pull back?
Dude, like the first 10 pages of my workshop would be cool. I don't know, dude. I've
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer for that. I mean, there's a lot that I look at and I go, I just didn't know what I was doing back then. But I've never taken anything off my workshop. I've never deleted any builds off my workshop. So once I put it out there, I put it out there because maybe I don't like it and maybe it doesn't even work. Because a lot of them I put legacy in front of it so people know that it's not a functional build in this patch. But I feel like maybe somebody would get something out of taking it and making it something new. I'm a firm believer that once you put something on the workshop, it's not really yours anymore.
Yeah.
It's for the community to do with it what they will. And, just going around different servers and seeing some of my builds and what people have done to them and modified them and in good and bad ways. But I mean, it still feels good. It's like, dude, like I designed that and somebody else has like made all their adjustments and made it look cool and different. And now they're loving the build.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned that Star Wars is one of your bigger sci-fi influences. Are there any other things that have impressed upon you? Any other themes or?
Oh, Expanse for sure. I love Expanse. I mean, sci-fi. I love Firefly, but there's not too many. So that is funny. So the first workshop build I ever did was the Firefly HV, and
oh, that's cool.
I never saw that, but yeah, like it was a replica too. So it was a it's right here. I put it in the middle here, and I used color. So yeah, that was
wow.
That was the inspiration for the first yeah.
I think that's the most colorful build I've ever seen from you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the colors loosely. So back then we couldn't make our own colors. So you had orange, you had yellow. That's it. So that was the closest I can get to it looking like what it was. But
that's pretty cool.
That's when they go and do that. They do that heist, right? At the
I dig those back seats. That's pretty cool, man.
Thanks.
Um, so has anyone within the build community had an influence on your builds?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, I don't think I'll say this. I don't know if it's true, but I don't think anybody in Empyrion has ever been more inspired by so many people than I have, because I literally see all these builders building things every month, and I walk through these things and spawn. You know what I mean? Like I've seen
Yeah,
so many different styles, and so I really can't say who's influenced me the most per se, but like I mean, I guess you could say JRandall, but there's so I mean, I get things from everybody. I mean, including you, man. Like just everybody that I see their builds and I'm like, damn, I didn't know you could do that, or this doesn't look like it belongs in Empyrion, and just because of the really cool seamless transitions people make, and the depth of perspective stuff, and just it's really cool to see, man.
yeah,
So my style has changed based on a lot of that inspiration.
yeah. There. So for example, for me, I've drawn a lot of I guess you could say aesthetic themes. Maybe not so much exterior, but some interior things like with lighting. A lot of that I've learned from Jay. Um,
Yeah.
as far as particular ships, a lot of sparks of interest have come from, kind of like you, everybody from the community. Like, I could look at the flechette here, and this thing has ultimately ended up in me making the Kayla's Deathwing, which is pretty
Oh
crazy to
wow.
think about. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, this build was inspired out of trying to find a way to make the smallest effective combat CV I could with like the most amount of hard points. But I didn't want it to all be like on the top kind of thing. I wanted it to be to where it could defend itself from all angles.
yeah,
So, you got the 16 hard points, well sorry, the 20 hard points in the back, and you got the 4 in the front, and then you got like the what is it, 12 fixed,
right.
and it's pretty damn small, but I mean once it gets hit it's over, but it's got decoys in the front, and
But it's efficient, right?
yeah, yeah, but it looks like a weird octopus thing, so I
So
don't like the look of it, but I mean it works.
yeah, so this is how this sequence worked out. I saw the shit and I'm like, wow, that reminds me of something from Eve Online, right? And then over
Mhm.
here, I ended up making this Emerald Shadow. This is prior to Wings. I was trying to replicate like a battleship from Eve Online, but it didn't look right.
Ah,
So I ended up growing the wings, right?
yeah,
Like, man,
yeah,
if I'm going to do Klingon, I might as well just go at full hardcore, right?
there you
Um,
go.
so then that's when the challenge came around for Star Trek, right? And then
Yeah, yeah,
that evolved into this.
yeah. Yep.
It's crazy, man.
Damn.
But to think that that came from the flechette.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Damn, this is awesome, man. That month was crazy, dude.
It
There was
was
so
great.
many amazing builds, yeah. But just all the thin detail work is like I'm such a sucker for thin block detail work. You know what I mean? It's like the best texturing you could do on a ship is that thin block stuff.
Yeah.
Because it just no matter what angle, you see that three-dimensional aspect of it, and it's incredible. It pops.
So, what do you think could improve Empyrion?
Oh. Um so well I guess you're talking the overall game, or you're talking about
Yeah.
building?
Well, I guess the overall game. You could touch on both of it, like maybe the first person aspect of it as well as creative.
Yeah. So and I've always said this, that, this game is of course the greatest building game I think that's ever been made. I think that it was an absolute mistake, but they stumbled upon it, and it really is the greatest.
Yeah.
This game does a lot of things marginally, and it does building amazing. And I just wish that all those things that were marginal were kind of at least organized into a way that the game seems cohesive. I mean, you know about how I feel about the early game stuff, and it's just nothing. Yeah, nothing makes any sense.
Right.
When you first play the game, it doesn't sell itself as a building game until you get pretty deep into it, and it's unfortunate because that's its main asset is building. And honestly, like that's a big reason why I started the Designers Challenge was building. I want people that build amazing stuff to see the light of day. I want their builds to be seen by more people than stumbling on it on the workshop, because everybody knows the workshop doesn't make any sense. There's so many builds you'll never see that are amazing because of all kinds of things. They don't know how to make screenshots and thumbnails, and the way you search for things in the workshop doesn't make sense, and you just never see it unless people vote on it.
Yeah.
And so now, like, you can watch this thing once or twice a month, and you can see amazing builders doing amazing things. And 4 years into it, everybody that submits is just making it's mind-blowing, the stuff that you see in the streams. And and I think that's a big part of the challenge, because we've all put our stuff in every month and we've learned so much from everybody else. So it's like this big conglomerate of inspiration.
Yeah. It's so many good talented builders, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And anything you have that you're working on now that you'd like to show?
Well, I guess the one I'm still tweaking about here is is there room for another build? I'll spawn it up top here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely digging these ramp doors. This is great, man. That little
Thanks.
sweet idea.
Yeah, so this is for it's for dense mining mainly. So it's got the 3 excavator turrets on the back. It's got 4 ice turrets. It does have tier 2s, laser and rockets in the front. It's got fixed lasers in the front, as well as artillery cannons in the back. And then it's got a full garden. It's got 4 mediums, full medium shield thingies, and yeah.
Yeah, this looks awesome, the interior. I'm digging this.
Yeah, thanks, dude. This is what I'm inspired to play season 6 for, is I want to play in this. I want to get to the point where I'm just chugging around the galaxy, dense mining stuff, processing stuff, and chilling.
Oh, this is pretty slick.
Yeah, I was looking for a way to not have to do the standard elevator on the side thing.
Oh, dude, look at this. The hanging bunk beds. Didn't even think of that. That's a genius, man. That's great, man. That's awesome. I never even thought of something like that. Like, I'm just blown away by some of the builders that come up with things for deco. I just can't.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I can't think outside of the box on that. I mean, every once in a while I might do, broken clocks right 2 times a day, sort of thing. But for the most part, I can do block work, but coming up with ideas for deco, that's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, like 80% of that kind of stuff I get from other people in the challenges. Go like, I mean, you hear it every month. You're like, oh, dude, like I never thought to use that like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, this looks great, man. I like this 2-tier of hangers. This is pretty slick.
Yeah, so the SV hanger, and then you got.
Yeah. All right, I guess that's it. Any parting words for the audience?
I guess keep building. I mean, honestly, like, all jokes aside, I mean, Empyrion is alive because of builders.
Yeah.
If people weren't building in this game, it would have died, because the people that don't build wouldn't have new builds to play with and modify and stuff. And honestly, like, builders are what keeps this game interesting, because the game looks different all the time. You see something on the workshop and it's mind blowing, and you go like, I want to play in that, and that's literally why people play Empyrion, and so I guess just honestly, just keep building. It looks like we've got some amazing things on the horizon. It looks like Vanilla's doing. They're going to be giving us new blocks, and hopefully we can get some of the reforged assets in Vanilla that Bobbin's worked on.
Yeah.
And then of course, Reforged Galaxy 2, Reforged Eden 2. So there's a lot to look forward to, and yeah, I'm gonna be here for it. So
yeah, I hope some of those blocks are like 11 and a quarter. Half of the 22.5. So.
Dude, yeah, no, definitely, man.
Yeah.
And let me say something too, man. Like I've been watching you doing like your content and your building and stuff, and I really gotta applaud you for sticking with what you're doing, because I see you're doing like a lot of different stuff. You know what I mean? You're not just doing one kind of content. You're hitting a lot of different avenues, and that's awesome. Like that's how you keep it fresh, and that's how you keep people interested in kind of what you're doing, and it really shows, dude. It's awesome. But honestly, too, like I was watching you do you were building one of your big Star Destroyers or something, and you were sitting there building and stuff, and then you start you pull out your multi-tool and you're like upgrading it, and you're going like, oh, what's the explosion damage on this? And then you start shooting it to blow up your thruster, and then you're like, oh no, let me upgrade that block. And I'm like, dude, should I been doing that this whole time? Like, what the hell is he doing? Like, I thought I tested my builds. I was like, look at this guy. So yeah, no, that was incredible, dude. Because people don't know that. There's actual commands where you can see the blast radius and you get all the tracers and everything. I mean, it's cool, man.
Right. Yeah. It's so. That comes from experience. Like, was it season 3 or season 4? I think it was Anvil, my first season there. Like, I had a build that took it out. It was completely plastic, and like all of the devices were chained together. So now it was fine.
Nice.
We were farming drone space, and that was all good until that event happened with the desync ship coming up out of nowhere. And it like just just that one shot, once the shields went down and the whole thing went up, that kind of learned that lesson the hard way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was a Corellian Corvette. Yeah. Well, thank you for lending me your time and giving me this interview, man. So I guess we will catch you later.
All right, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. That's it, folks. Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Artists Behind the Art with XCaliber. We'll catch y'all next time. On the hunt for Tovera. Okay, Tovera has rendered in. I will now activate the Spade secret weapon, its shield. Here we go. I like this first person. This looks great. Yeah, back off. I'm using a Bastion shield generator, so the recharge is gonna be pretty good. I'm sorry, a regenerative shield, not a Bastion. Probably should have gone with a Bastion. Current targets are turrets. Say about immobilizing the thruster so we get control of the fight. It's starting to slow down a little bit. Should have just the pack of advanced thrusters now. That might be it. Something's still hitting me. Must be sentry guns possible. No, there it is. Spotlight's not available, no spotlight. Oh boy. There it is. Alrighty. Oh, now it spawns interceptors. That's strange. Where's that? Where are these guys coming from? Well, that's it. Vengeance is reaped. Alright, folks, that's it. Spade versus Tovera. The final showdown. I'll catch y'all next time. Hello, folks. If you enjoy my content, if you enjoy my builds, please consider becoming a patron today. As a patron, you get access to custom builds of release works, early access to some builds before they hit the workshop, exclusive builds. You also gain access to direct feedback and engagement through polls, idea suggestions regarding builds before and after workshop release. If this interests you, please check out the pinned comment below. Thank you.